Hello everyone, welcome to Simple Vegan. Today I'm going to make a smoky lentil soup with kale. If you don't like kale, you can always use spinach. Spinach is just a little bit more delicate. So what you're going to need is your red lentils. I already have them washed and drained. You'll need some onion, carrots, celery. I've got my Tuscan kale and my spices. So I have some garlic powder, onion powder, sea salt, pepper, my smoked paprika, some oregano, basil, and then my turmeric. I'm also going to start by coating my pan with some olive oil. So generously coat the bottom of my pot with some olive oil. And the first thing I'm going to add in are my onions. So I'm going to let those brown. Then once my onions have browned a little bit, I'm going to add in my carrots and my celery. So we let the carrots and the celery get a little tender. I'm going to cover probably for about 10 minutes or so until they get tender. So as my veggies are browning and getting tender, my carrots, my celery, my onions, I'm going to add in my spices, so a little bit of salt. And some garlic powder. Even though we have onions in here, I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder as well. I've got my turmeric. And you always want to make sure you add pepper when you're using that spice. A little bit of black pepper, and I'm going to mix that all in. I'm then going to add my can of tomato sauce, okay? So we add in the tomato sauce before the lentils so it can absorb all the flavor. Can of tomato sauce. I'm going to stir that all in. And I'm going to add in my basil and oregano. And mix that in. And then next I'm going to add my red lentils. So these have already been washed and drained. I'm going to add those in. And you can really season to taste. I like my food a little salty, so I'm probably going to add a little more salt and garlic. So mix that in. So I'm just going to put a little more sea salt. And then just a little more garlic powder. And mix that. I'm going to add a little water. And let this come to a boil. So I added a little less than 2 cups for now. And I'll cover and bring that to a boil. So I brought everything to a boil, and I'm going to reduce my flame, and here's where I add in my kale. So my kale's already been washed and dried and drained and cut. So slowly add your kale in, or whichever green you choose to use. You can use spinach. And then I'm going to add just a little more water. You don't want to add too much because you do want this to be thick, almost like a stew. So I'm going to start by adding in just another 2 cups of water. And I've reduced my flame because I want this to now simmer. I'm going to let it simmer for about an hour so the greens get tender and then all the flavors are absorbed into the lentils and into the tomato sauce. So I'm going to cover. Grab a pot holder, I'm known for burning my fingers. I've reduced the flame, so I'm gonna let this simmer for about an hour. Again, you can add a little more water if you need to, but remember, you do want it to be more like a stew. At least I like mine a little thick. And then season to taste. You can add a little bit more salt, more pepper, more onion powder, more garlic. Once the kale has gotten tender, that's when you want to add in your smoked paprika to give it that smoky flavor. So I add that in towards the end. For more great recipes, please visit my website, stacyfields.com. Thanks for joining me.